Scholars on Film. This broadcast was made possible by Stilsder Corp. and viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome back to another edition of Scholars on Film. I am your host, Sir BBKK, and I am here today with scholar Michelangelo and Sir Sherlin-Wasser. And today we will be analyzing the great Shakespearean tragedy, Hamlet. You know, when many think of Hamlet, such a dynamic play, you know, there's just so much going around. And as some critics such as Neil Taylor and Anne Thompson have said, quote, Hamlet is capable of showing a seemingly endless retelling and adaptation by others. So in that note, today we will analyze 3 different adaptations. The first is Kenneth Branagh's version of Hamlet. The second is Hamlet 1990 starring Mel Gibson. And finally, the third is Michael Almereyda's rendition of Hamlet, Hamlet 2000. The first film we will analyze is Branagh's rendition of Hamlet.
You must know.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
And I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir, to be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. The dread of something after death.
The film is just under 4 hours long, and it is the second longest Hollywood production. It just falls short of Cleopatra, which was just 1 minute longer. And so, it may be a good film for Shakespearean fans, but to the modern viewer, you know, it might just come off as annoying. I don't want to see Hamlet, line by line, the whole film, just for 4 hours long. So I'll start off with Sir Sherlin-Wasser. And I want you to talk about the length of the film, and is this a good film for a modern film viewer?
Well, Sir BBKK, it is indeed true that not every viewer can appreciate a film 4 hours in length. Then again, it is also true that not every viewer can appreciate Shakespeare, his works, in their glory, their profound meaning. Really, for those viewers who would truly appreciate any Hamlet adaptation, the length of this film is not an issue, for the truly incredible adaptation is worth it.
Mm-hmm. So, the film was set in a Victorian era, not in Denmark, as we're usually used to in the 16th century. So, what do you think of this, and Sir Michelangelo?
Even though it was updated to the Victorian era, I feel that it is appropriate, and the setting was in a northern cold setting, as should be in the play. And Branagh himself said that he wanted a bright setting where there was a lot of light, and he wanted to capture both the exterior and the interior of the castle, as well as this movie, incredibly, was the last film to shot in 70mm camera. The first one to do so since 1992's Far and Away, and the visual quality is just stunning.
And now we will analyze the character Hamlet in Branagh's film. He's a quite dynamic character. How do you think Branagh portrays Hamlet in the film, Sir Michelangelo?
I agree with you that Kenneth Branagh makes Hamlet a very dynamic character. In this complete and long version of Hamlet, he is shown to be witty, he is shown to be a director of other actors, of the other people in the play, unlike in shorter versions where he is turned into a sensitive idiot, a mope that doesn't do anything. This Hamlet still retains his wit that he uses to manipulate people, and overall I think it was a very good job of portraying Hamlet.
And what do you think of the character Claudius?
Derek Jacobi's portrayal of Claudius was also very good, and one of the reasons I think is because in shorter adaptations, Claudius was limited to a stereotypical villain type role, whereas with his lines restored in this full-length version of Hamlet, he was more complete, and you can see his motivation.
Yeah, and I think, as you've said, given Bronnau's time length of 4 hours, I think this like certainly a lot of time to be able to develop the characters, and I think that's one of the aspects of the film that make it successful. Now we'll analyze Franco Zeffirelli's rendition of Hamlet, starring Mel Gibson. Here's a clip.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
No, not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest?
No, Brother Rude, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and would it were not so, you are my mother. In Hamlet.
So the film is, unlike Bronnau's version, is not line by line. There, it doesn't take the exact order of the original play Hamlet. So, Sir Schürzenwasser, what do you think of this adaptation and the fact that it's been cut down and reordered or reorganized?
This adaptation has been described by some as Hamlet's greatest hit, because the many scenes are still in the film, of course, but these scenes are the most famous ones, the ones that people tend to remember from Hamlet. Other scenes that give us perhaps important information but are not so memorable are left out. But this adaptation ultimately remains true to Hamlet for the most part. Scenes are either played verbatim or excluded, and the adaptation is successful for its goal. Rather than the Bronnau version to give a complete, accurate, faithful representation of Hamlet, the goal of this version is to create a more streamlined Hamlet that is appealing to the everyday viewer, unlike the Bronnau version, which is only good for us Shakespeare experts. So this film, although not exactly the original, is still successful in its goal.
So, Sir Michelangelo, what do you think of the characterization of Hamlet in this film, as opposed to Bronnau's version?
Before I begin, I would like to make a correction on my fellow scholar here. It is not Hamlet's greatest eats. This is not Denny's. But, as I was saying, as far as Mel Gibson's portrayal of Hamlet, he's very moody and vengeful and troubled, and Mel Gibson is a good actor for this part because he plays a similar character in Lethal Weapon. He plays a troubled man who contemplates about killing himself. So that was a good casting part, but what I did not like was the actor Glenn Close who portrayed Gertrude. I feel she was frankly too lustful.
Sensuous.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so what do you think of the relationship in this version with Hamlet and Gertrude? It's quite disturbing at times.
It is. When I first viewed this adaptation of Hamlet, I was frankly floored by these sudden scenes. We are seeing Shakespeare, and then there is something which is very much not Shakespeare. It does not belong. This attempt to create a new interpretation of Hamlet fails miserably, because ultimately it is not lust which motivates Gertrude and Claudius to come together. It is merely Claudius's quest for power, which is more accurately represented in the Bronnau version. This inclusion of other effects and other opinions of the motivations, I feel is completely unfounded.
So this film, unlike Bronnau's version, it takes place in Denmark. It's closer to what Shakespeare's environment would have been like when he wrote the play.
I feel that paradoxically, both of the films worked in terms of the overall effect, the lighting, the gothic in this version, and the very bright in the Bronnau version. But I must impose a correction. It is actually the case that Bronnau was also set in Denmark. Both of these films are set in Denmark. Bronner strove for a very light, cold but light approach.
Okay.
But in this film it was a dark medieval approach, such more as we see in conventional Shakespeare adaptations.
So more of a difference between the era or the time period
yes,
as
yes.
opposed to the setting. Okay. Thank you. And now we will move on to one of the most controversial adaptations of Hamlet, Michael Almereyda's version. The film takes place in a modern cosmopolitan society, and instead of Denmark being a country, it is now a multinational corporation, and the film is a lot more modern.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
And I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Yes, sir, to be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That is very true, my lord.
So, what do you think of this film, Sir Watzer? Do you think it's a good adaptation? What do you think of Hamlet, the character in this film, as opposed to previous adaptations?
I must say, when I perform a criticism of a film, I try to be charitable in the regard that it is difficult to render a new version of such a classic as Hamlet. Yeah. Nonetheless, I must say, this film was horrific. It was... Many criticisms have been leveled against this film by a number of critics. Some of the things which one observes in this film, as the lead actor Ethan Hawke, who portrays Hamlet, completely misses the character. Hamlet is an intelligent, complex character who is driven not by just deep sadness, but by the desire for revenge. He is filled with rage. In this version, we see Hamlet as just a sad teenager who walks around with a video camera and really has nothing redeeming or nothing vivid in him.
So, did you think that the setting or the plot was, as some people say, ingenious? For example, Sir Alan Stone from the Boston Globe. Do you agree with his views, Sir Michelangelo?
Frankly, I do not. Some people call it the Radio Shack Hamlet. There's so much new technology and that's just shoved into this adaptation. Like, and so much product placement. Like, there's a fax machine. There's a
Pepsi vending
machine. When he walks into the Pepsi one.
There is no place in Shakespeare for Pepsi.
Yeah, so the film, it tries to bring the aspects of Shakespeare, and it also tries to modernize it. But do you agree with the fact that Almereyda decided to use the dialogue? He got it completely from the original Shakespearean play. Do you think that Almereyda should have used modern language? Do you think that would have made it a better film?
Absolutely. Viewing this film, one immediately gets the sense that, first of all, this dialogue does not belong in the context of the film, and second, that it is completely overwhelming for the actors. They look absurd, delivering these lines, these long Shakespearean lines, which were able to work out for the other versions, but in this case, trying to speak like you're from the 1500s while you're standing at the podium of a multinational corporation just is not effective.
Yes, the dialogue does not fit. I mean, having Hamlet's speech to Ophelia, "Get thee to a nunnery," finished over an answer machine? By jingo! And referring to your boss as my lord, it simply doesn't fit.
I see. And this concludes our edition of Scholars on Film, Hamlet. Thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
I propose a toast.
Thank you. This has been Scholars on Film. Tune in next week for a feminist criticism of the role of WikiLeaks on fashion trends. Analyze Franco Zeffirelli's rendition of Hamlet. This is Zeffirelli?
Zeffirelli.
Zeffirelli, okay.
Did you notice his hands?
No.
No, you didn't!
What is this? Where's my fire? This is the very heart and soul of this Scholars on Film program. How do we not have fire? Haven't any of you worked on TV before? Did you start it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Dude, we started.
Fine.
Okay, we stop again.
No.